Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, let's talk vans. But maybe, forget everything you think you know about them.
Yeah.
Because today, we're diving into a vehicle that isn't just aiming high, it's trying to completely rewrite the rules for luxury travel.
We are talking about the Mercedes-Benz Vision V. It's a concept, sure, but it's sending some serious signals about electric mobility and, well, just how practical luxury can get.
Right. And our focus here, for you listening, is to really unpack what this Vision V means.
Yeah, we're digging into the details, the design, the tech.
Yeah.
But the goal is to get past the specs and understand the bigger picture. What's the shift here? What could this mean for how we travel, how we work, even on the move?
Totally. And this isn't just some random side project from Mercedes-Benz, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, they basically invented the motorized van, way back.
Over a century ago, yeah. They have history here.
So when they show off something like the Vision V, especially since it's built on their brand new all-electric platform, the VAN.EA, well, you got to pay attention.
Definitely. It signals a major commitment.
Okay, so let's get to the core of it. What's the big idea behind this Vision V? What are they really trying to do?
Well, the phrase that keeps coming up is a one-box limo.
One-box limo, okay.
Yeah, think about it. Taking the inherent space and usefulness of a van, but elevating it, like seriously elevating it to private jet levels of luxury.
Private jet on wheels.
Kind of, yeah. That serene, controlled vibe you get on a high-end flight, but for the road. And crucially, enough actual space inside to, say, hold a proper meeting.
A mobile boardroom that actually looks cool, that's different.
It is. And the inside isn't just about fancy leather, right? It's meant to be super adaptable.
Adaptable how?
So Dr. Andreas Sagan, one of the minds behind it, talks about the cabin transforming with just a tap, apparently.
Transforming from what to what?
From like a first-class lounge for relaxing
See.
to a full-on office setup for Zoom calls,
Yeah.
and then maybe into an entertainment space. He even mentioned a gaming den.
A gaming den.
Yeah.
A Mercedes van.
Right. It sounds ambitious. But it suggests some really clever engineering and how the seats move, how screens appear, the materials they use. It all has to work seamlessly and feel, luxurious.
Yeah, that mechanism would have to be pretty robust. So what kind of luxury touches are we talking about here to justify calling it a limo? This is obviously way beyond the usual family hauler.
Oh, absolutely. The descriptions mention things like power reclining throne seats, really focusing on individual comfort and space.
Throne seats. Nice.
And get this, a disappearing 65-inch cinema screen.
65 inches. Where does that even go?
Apparently it retracts away for presentations, movies, whatever. And the materials, they're benchmarking against Maybach.
Wow. Okay, so Maybach level. That tells you everything you need to know about the quality they're aiming for.
Exactly. It's about the feel, the touch, the whole sensory experience, far beyond a normal car interior.
It really feels like they're pushing hard against that old, maybe slightly boring minivan image.
Definitely. And maybe it's time, People are starting to recognize the actual benefits of a van shape.
What do you mean?
Well, Ralph Gills from Stellantis, he had that great quote about SUVs being like monospaces and drag.
I remember that.
His point was that the core things people like about SUVs, the space, the utility vans often do better, easier to get in and out, sliding doors are super practical, just sheer volume for people and stuff.
Right, the fundamental packaging is just really efficient.
Exactly. And consumers value that practicality. So the idea now is, okay, let's take that useful shape and make it desirable. Wrap it in great design, load it with premium features.
So usefulness plus aspiration.
That's the formula, it seems. And the market's already there, to an extent. Van sales in the U.S. are pretty solid, around 500,000 a year.
That's not insignificant.
Not at all. And the bet is that going electric and adding this kind of luxury Mercedes is talking about will just grow that market, pull in people who maybe wouldn't have considered a van before.
Okay, interesting. So the Vision V is pushing the boundaries on interior luxury and challenging van stereotypes. Let's get technical for a minute. What's underneath? What's actually making this thing go?
Right. The foundation is key. It's Mercedes-Benz's dedicated electric vehicle platform called VAN.EA.
Van.EA.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a skateboard chassis design. You hear that term a lot with EVs.
Meaning battery, motors, all that stuff is low down on the floor.
Exactly. Which does two things. Frees up enormous space for the cabin above and allows them to fit a pretty hefty battery. For the Vision V, they're talking up to 120 kilowatt hours.
120 kilowatt. That's substantial. What does that translate to in terms of range? because that's always the big question with EVs.
Their target is over 300 miles on a charge.
Okay, 300 plus miles. That puts it in a very usable category, even for longer trips.
Definitely starts to chip away at range anxiety. And speaking of anxiety, charging, that's the other piece.
Right, how fast can you juice this thing up?
This is where the 800-volt architecture comes in. It's a big deal for charging speed.
Higher voltage means faster charging.
Essentially, yes. With the right DC fast charger, they're aiming to add something like 186 miles of range in about 15 minutes.
Wow, okay, 186 miles in 15 minutes. That's pretty quick.
Game-changing kind of quick, especially for a vehicle this size. Think about using this for business travel. That minimal downtime is huge.
15 minutes is basically a coffee break. Okay, now, it's a luxury vehicle, but it's still a van. What about performance? Handling?
They've thought about that. It'll come with options, standard rear-wheel drive or a dual-motor all-wheel drive setup for more power and traction.
All-wheel drive makes sense for something premium, gives you that all-weather confidence.
Exactly. And the focus isn't necessarily on raw speed, but on smooth, quiet, refined power delivery, fitting for that VIP experience inside, plus the stability that AWD provides.
Makes sense. And you can't have a cutting-edge concept like this without talking about driver assistance, right? What level are we looking at?
Good point. It's slated to launch with Level 2 Plus assistance.
Level 2 Plus, meaning hands-off driving on the highway in certain conditions.
That's the idea. Helps reduce fatigue on long drives. But they're already looking ahead. Mercedes has been clear that this VAN.EA platform is designed with Level 3 autonomy in mind.
Level 3? So the car takes over completely in specific situations, and the driver can actually do other things.
Potentially, yes, down the road. Imagine having that capability in what's essentially a luxury lounge on wheels. You could genuinely work or relax while traveling.
That is a pretty compelling combination.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's circle back to a potential hurdle, especially for luxury buyers moving to electric range anxiety. Even with 300 miles and fast charging, people worry.
Absolutely. And Mercedes seems to understand that worry is the opposite of luxury. Which brings us to their Be-Charged EV safety program.
Me-charged. Okay, I saw that mentioned. What is that exactly? It sounds like more than just AAA.
It is, yeah. It's a pretty strategic package, especially for the initial buyers in the U.S. They get it bundled for the first year with the Vision V.
So what's in the bundle?
Quite a bit, actually. First off, nationwide 24/7 mobile fast charge rescue.
Mobile rescue, like they bring a charger to you.
Exactly. If you somehow run really low, you can summon a mobile unit that can deliver up to 240 kilowatts of power right where you are.
Huh. Okay, that's a serious safety net. What else?
Then there are proactive battery health checks. Through an app, owners can keep tabs on their battery's condition, hopefully catching potential issues early.
Like preventative care for your EV battery. Smart.
Yeah. They also include carbon offset credits for any energy used during those emergency mobile charging sessions.
Oh, that's a nice touch.
Yeah.
Keeps it aligned with the whole eco-conscious vibe.
And maybe the most luxury part of it is the VIP concierge service.
A concierge for charging.
Basically, yeah. This service can handle the logistics of charging for you. Say you're at an event or film shoot or flying into a private airport. They can coordinate getting the van charged so it's ready when you need it. The owner, or maybe their driver, doesn't have to fuss with finding stations or managing the process.
Wow. So instead of you going to the charger, the charging solution, or at least the coordination, comes to you.
That's the idea. It takes a major potential pain point of EV ownership off the table, at least for that first year. And that could be really persuasive for luxury buyers on the fence about going electric.
No kidding. That addresses the convenience factor in a big way.
Yeah.
So with all this tech, luxury, and this Be-Charged support, who exactly is Mercedes picturing buying this? Who's the target audience?
It seems pretty broad, actually, within that high-end space. Definitely targeting executives, maybe celebrities, people who want that Gulfstream serenity, as they put it. But on the ground, a private space to work or just decompress between appointments.
Okay, the mobile exec lounge. Makes sense. Who else?
Then you've got maybe high-end adventure families, people who need space for gear skis, bikes, whatever, but also want luxury and maybe the plug-and-play power aspect of an EV for their equipment.
Right, like a really upscale base camp.
Could be. Also, mobile professionals. Think creatives, consultants. Anyone needing a quiet, connected workspace that can move with them. Imagine setting up a mobile podcast studio or editing suite in the back.
Huh. Yeah, the quietness of electric would be a huge plus there.
For sure. And finally, they're looking at the luxury hospitality industry. Eco-conscious hotels, high-end resorts, offering guests a zero-emission, 5-star shuttle service.
Ah, so B2B applications too, not just personal use.
Exactly. It positions the van as a sophisticated, sustainable solution for businesses catering to discerning clients. It's not just about personal indulgence.
It feels like it's really pushing the van concept way beyond just transporting people.
I think that's the core argument here, that the Vision V, with its blend of luxury features, electric power, and this very proactive B-charged support system, it has the potential to redefine what ultimate luxury utility even means.
Utility, but make it fancy.
And electric. And worry-free, thanks to B-Charge tackling those EV anxieties right from the start. It makes it a really interesting alternative to, say, a big luxury SUV, doesn't it? Maybe even better for certain buyers.
It really does. Okay, so let's wrap up this deep dive. The Mercedes-Benz Vision V, it's clearly much more than just a concept van with a futuristic look.
Absolutely. It's like this convergence point, high-end, luxury, advanced EV tech, and then this comprehensive support blanket with B-Charged. All designed to make going electric feel effortless, even luxurious for the most demanding customers.
It's a really bold statement about where premium travel could be headed, fusing that inherent van practicality with a refined, quiet electric experience and backing it all up with serious customer care.
It really is.
So here's something for you, our listener, to chew on. When you see this kind of intersection, extreme luxury, electric efficiency, and that kind of proactive support network like B-Charged, how might that change your expectations for transportation, both for personal trips and maybe professional needs?
Yeah, and think beyond vans, too. What other vehicle types that we take for granted might be ready for a similar radical reinvention? It feels like the whole idea of how we get around could be shifting.
Definitely food for thought.
And just a final note, if you're curious about the nitty-gritty of that B-Charged EV safety program, the source materials mentioned, checking out bchargedev.com.
Right, bchargedev.com for more details on that support system.
Yeah.
It's definitely an interesting piece of the puzzle in making luxury EVs more appealing.